Welcome to Dinar Trend Tracker channel. Is everything set for the most monumental event in the history of our currency? There may be a worldwide currency reset happening right now in 2025, and if that's the case, it's already affecting regular people. It's true, this is the first stage of our vibe. Those who own Iraqi dinars, or Vietnamese dongs can now supposedly participate in the so-called Dinar RV exchange process. Here on Iraqi and Arnadois, we'll explain everything in detail, including what it means, how it's supposed to operate, and what you should know to be ready. Persist to the conclusion, for I will detail the dangers, the timeline, and the possible courses of action, should you choose to pursue them. Stay tuned for the next shocking development. Let us start by clarifying the meaning of RV, Phase 1, and Tier 4B. Revaluation is the abbreviation RV. The formal process by which a country's currency is adjusted so that it is more in line with international norms. This might be a major shift, not only a little acknowledgement. In the first stage, known as Phase 1, the exchange process is opened up to certain types of holders. For the common people who actually own tangible notes of Iraqi dinar or Vietnamese dong, many insiders refer to them as Tier 4B. Speculation in financial networks suggests that this could be the day when those people are finally able to trade using the new revaluation rate. Many people think this is the moment regular investors have been hoping for, but whether or not reality meets conjecture is still up in the air. Let us examine the Iraqi dinar in detail now. Iraq has gone through wars, rebuilding, and economic reorganization in the past 20 years. Some people who keep tabs on the currency believe that Iraq is getting ready to wean itself off of the US dollar, particularly when it comes to oil transactions. They reference actions taken by the Iraqi central bank to upgrade financial systems and increase foreign currency reserves. In the RV scenario, their actions are typically seen as laying the framework for an unexpected dinar strengthening. Therefore, it is believed that the value per dinar could be substantially greater than what has been accepted in the open FX markets when Phase 1 becomes active. When we shift our focus to the Vietnamese dong, we find a storyline that is comparable but contextualized differently. The country of Vietnam has grown rapidly and is now an important center for commerce and industry. A combination of consistent export success and integration into global supply chains has strengthened its financial position. Those who believe in RV are speculating that the Vietnamese government is getting ready to revalue the dong as part of their currency reforms that will take place in the long run. Those who own Nitmi dong could see their value spike unexpectedly if that turns out to be the case. This suggests that, within the framework of Tier 4B, certain dong holders may be allowed to participate in a revaluation exchange process alongside dinar holders. So, how exactly does the rumored Tier 4B exchange work? Individuals must initially possess physical currency notes, not just electronic balances or bank credits, according to the report circulating around independent currency groups. They should bring genuine, first-issue notes, preferably with serial numbers or certifications. After then, holders may get in touch with designated banks, official or semi-official exchange centers, or both. It has been reported that appointments will be set up. The appointment is when the money is checked. And it might be in return for accepted currencies or monies placed at the newly revalued rate, all dependent on the conditions. Payouts can be arranged to be lower initially with lesser bonus rates or greater with lower rates and rapid liquidity, according to certain versions of the narrative. To further understand this, let's take a look at a hypothetical case. Envision yourself physically holding 1,000 Iraqi dinars and zalos. That sum might not have much value in convertible currencies at the present exchange rate. For instance, that same Zazan dinars might unexpectedly convert to a substantially higher amount in US dollars or another global currency if Phase 1 Tier 4B goes operational and an exchange center provides, say, a revaluation rate 100 to 1 above the old rates are. One possible compromise is to have half the value paid for upfront and the other half spread out over a longer period of time or contingent upon certain events. The scheme's backers are banking on the fact that early adopters will be able to negotiate better pricing than the general public. When will this process begin? What are the telltale signs? There has been a lot of buzz about banking systems upgrading, which supporters say is a good sign. Some banks have been making changes to their foreign exchange modules, which they've noticed. Rumor has it that bank branches have received internal memoranda instructing them to begin making preparations for upcoming currency flows and exchange windows. The so-called authorized exchange desks have supposedly contacted certain people or scheduled appointments for them. Some cite official pronouncements or regulatory filings regarding currency reform and software upgrades for banking infrastructure. All things considered, these indicators point to the TR4B phase being real and not just theoretical. Naturally, there is a lot of mistrust and good reasons to be careful about if Iraq wants its currency, the dinar, to appreciate substantially. According to many economists, it must demonstrate long-term macroeconomic stability, including price stability, balanced trade accounts, robust reserves, and market confidence. Doubters argue that central banks and mainstream financial media would surely warn of such a drastic change if it were taking place. They caution against the numerous swindle artists who exploit hope, particularly in relation to exotic currencies. Since certain authorities have cautioned against speculative currency revaluation schemes, it is critical to distinguish between optimistic hearsay and solid, verified evidence. We should also think about when this will happen. Depending on the current status of Tier 4B, holders may be required to take action within certain time frames. Delaying activities could result in losing favorable conditions, since some narratives imply that early trading windows will close or shrink after Phase 1. Some argue that retail holders will be left out in the cold when access to later phases is restricted to institutions or major investors only. Quite a few of these accounts portray the first stage as a time-sensitive opportunity. As a result, advocates stress the importance of promptness. These are assertions, not guarantees, nevertheless. It is recommended that individuals take the following practical steps: collect physical money proof of possession, verify its legitimacy, obtain serial number records, and prepare identity and bank account details. Keep an eye out for messages from money or bank authorities, since they may provide instructions or appointment options. To find out if they are taking part, some recommend getting in touch with regional exchanges or branches of the central bank. Others should remain calm and refrain from making payments for services, claiming, or using the site. You may be sure that a lot of these deals are bogus. Always be wary of claims of promised large profits. Now, we may discuss risk management. Do not overcommit further funds if you already possess dinar or dong. Wait for more reliable proof before doing so. Tolerances can be reasonably set. In the event that this plan bombs, how much money can you afford to lose? You should diversify. Never take out a loan just to buy more speculative currency. Pay close attention to requests for upfront payments, requests for non-disclosure or secrecy agreements, or promises that sound too good to be true. These are all signs of scams. Is the counterparty open, trustworthy, and confirmed by authorities? Take careful notes and save all receipts. Suppose there are tax responsibilities, what may go wrong? A great deal of things. Perhaps the revaluation will never come to fruition. There can be an endless delay in the exchange process. You could be surprised by how unfavorable the quoted rate is. Potential adversaries may vanish. You might not get your money back if it's invalid. The proposal might be cancelled or intervened by governments or regulators. Conversion restrictions or liquidity limitations may persist even after a revaluation. To sum up, there are real risks associated with the illusion of instant prosperity. You should always be patient and skeptical when you hear tales like these. On the bright side, dinar holders stand to gain a lot in the event that the RV is a smashing success, elevating the value of a currency that was hitherto seen as having little purchasing power. Convertible riches could be suddenly available to someone holding tangible notes. For a lot of people, that might be a game changer. Similar profits are anticipated for dong holders, depending on the aggressiveness of their valuation. In addition, if this action is a part of a larger worldwide currency reset, it might have far-reaching consequences for more than just the dinar and the dong. That is why there are others who think there might be enormous benefits to getting in early. Looking at the big picture, it's probable that many countries and central banks would work together on this. Mechanisms of support are necessary to allow for a single currency to undergo a major revolution without jeopardizing global financial stability. Some stories make it sound like they're working behind the scenes to secure funds, reserve support, or mutual agreements. To reiterate, none of this has been validated by established organizations. Media attention, international investment flows, and coordinated policy pronouncements are all things that should emerge if global financial networks are at work. All these stories are all speculation until we see that. What kind of response could regulators and governments make now? A formal denial or confirmation from a central bank could be issued if the speculation becomes more widespread. Government agencies may decide to issue cautions. Limits or limitations on big currency trades could be imposed by some nations. In order to control inflation or prevent money from fleeing, some may decide to slow down the process. There may be matters pertaining to law or audits. Stricter verification and processes may be required by authorities. Prospective players need to be flexible in case the regulations are changed or there are unexpected announcements that completely alter the playing field. Stressing the significance of time and patience is equally crucial. In speculative finance, the complete revaluation and exchange flow may not occur for weeks or months, even though the Tier 4B window is open now. The wording is quick, but the deed is slow. Those anticipating a quick sale might be let down by that. The most important thing is to keep your cool, do your research, and not let your emotions dictate your judgments. Do not rush in without first making sure you are prepared. Readying, keeping an eye on, and checking are the words that come to mind. Refrain from letting FOMO dictate your choices. I have a few suggestions that should help you stay ahead of the game. Keep up with official pronouncements or publications on currency policy, subscribe to alerts from your national bank or treasury, be on the lookout for communique regarding currency reform in the financial news media. Be wary of any service or person requesting payment in advance that guarantees access to a revaluation. Keep all actual cash holdings in a secure location with proper documentation, stay in touch with trustworthy advisors or experts, and verify rumors with trusted sources. Verified channels will become apparent in due time if it is genuine. The psychological and emotional aspects should also be considered. Many individuals have a strong emotional investment in these currencies and are holding out hope for a large return. That longing might make one gullible and unable to think clearly. Con artists use it to their advantage. So, remain calm. Get certified confirmation and evidence. Never put all your eggs in one basket solely on hearsay. Any money you put into this field could end up being completely worthless. Get ready for unexpected and disheartening results. Ensure your stability first and foremost. Finally, the intriguing and dramatic idea of RV Phase 1 and 4B being online right now is a compelling story. Rumor has it that ordinary Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong holders will soon be able to begin a revaluation exchange process. Nonetheless, the gap between the two is wide. Both the assertions and the hazards are substantial. The evidence is illustrative rather than definitive. If you choose to remain in this, do it with care, attention, modest exposure, and an open mind. Additionally, verify all you hear with reliable sources. This area is anticipated to see increased activity as we progress through 2025. Possible new developments include confirmations, announcements, and perhaps the debut of Tier 4B exchanges. Here on Iraqi Dinar, I will be addressing everything in detail. Be sure to keep an eye on the situation if you happen to be holding VNAR or Dong, or if you are just plain curious. Leave a comment with your question, and I will make sure to answer it in future videos. Make sure you don't miss any updates by liking, subscribing, and clicking the bell icon. As events unfold, we will observe and assess them collectively.